FitLabPGH is a Pittsburgh-based podcast. We firmly believe you should treat movement as a lifestyle, not just an activity. One of the great things that we've seen since COVID-19 started is, if anything could be great with something as bad as that, is the fact that more people appear to be moving, especially moving outside, which is our preferred method of movement. We've taken advantage of the Rails to Trails, and the partner in FitLab Pittsburgh, Lisa, who's behind the camera, has started biking more, and she's not comfortable riding on the roads. We've spent some time, in addition to being on the trails walking and jogging, some time riding our bikes. And one of the things we realize, the more we bike, the more we look around social media, the more we walk, is there's a whole lot of whining going on with the bikers saying the walkers get in our way or the runners get in our way, and the runners or the walkers saying the bikers are going too fast. So we thought we'd make this video podcast. You can either share it. We hope you do share it. You can share it. Maybe it'll give you some good tips. Maybe you can share it and say, look at this idiot who's offering these suggestions. So a couple things just to remember is we have gems in Pittsburgh, these Rails to Trails. And for the most part, unless somebody gets on it with a car who shouldn't be on it, we don't have to worry about cars. And having lived in Norfolk, Virginia, having lived in Atlanta, Georgia, not having to worry about cars for running or walking or biking is absolutely a phenomenal thing. But it doesn't mean that we can forget that we're still in a public place, we're still sharing. So one of the most valuable tips that we should remember, no matter what we're doing, running, walking, hanging out with our dogs, taking our kids out, is recognize that we're sharing the trail. The International Mountain Bike Association had the hashtag, or actually it was even before hashtags, share the trail way back in the 1990s. And think about this when you go out on the trails, even if you're at North Park, if you're in South Park, if you're in Mingo Creek Park, you're a guest of the county, you're a guest of the Montour Trail, it's volunteers. So think about what can I do to not only make my experience phenomenal, because movement is a lifestyle, but also make everybody else's. So just some things we've seen, and if we've done these things to anybody who sees it, we apologize. Nobody's perfect, errors are made. First thing is, just be aware of your surroundings. So I hate listening to music or podcasts when I run or when I walk or when I bike. If you like to do that, think about either getting something like Trex Bones, they're outside the ear headphones, or if you want to use headphones, put one in one ear. So that way you can hear somebody calling out saying, hey, watch out, biker on the left, runner passing you, something like that. Not only is it for safety for you, because nobody thinks anything's going to happen to them until it happens, but it also is being collegial and being nice to other people and really sharing the trail. On those same tokens, a lot of people like to get outdoors because they want to get away from all that noise that's in society. You know, if you're sitting in traffic, if you're in a bar or restaurant, because yes, you can do that now if you have a noisy workplace, being out in nature is a wonderful thing. So if you're thinking, maybe I'll just play my phone on speaker, think again and remember, share the trail. Maybe not everybody has your taste in music. I know most of you probably want to listen to FitLab Pittsburgh, but not everybody else does. Another thing to think about is when you're on these trails, whether they're Rails to Trails or other things, be aware of people who are coming behind you, whether they're runners, walkers, bikers, stroller runners. I've actually been outrun in a race by a man pushing a stroller who ran about a 14:55 5K. It was a little embarrassing for me until I found out he was an elite runner running with his child. But just be aware, and if you're 2 or 3 abreast talking, you see somebody's coming up behind you, kind of be polite and go single file. Same thing if you're coming up on somebody else and you're walking 2 abreast, they're walking 2 abreast, or they're cycling 2 abreast, kind of go single file for that. If you're overtaking people, think about what it looks like if you're on a bicycle. This is especially common that we've seen when we're running or we're walking. Bicyclists are fast, even if you don't think you're going fast when you're going 10 or 11 miles an hour, that's really fast. So maybe don't try to thread the needle between people if people are passing on the trail. Kind of hang back a second. Again, my friend Sam Brassfield, who we interviewed for Moving to Live, our sister podcast, once had a post on Facebook where he said, think about what you can do to make everybody else's experience on the trails more enjoyable. And I think that's the thing, not whether you're right or wrong. You can kind of keep track in your head like we do. We kind of count idiots on the trail and pick a winner each time, not to embarrass people, just between us, because one of the things that helps remind us of, look, it's not all our trail. So what we want people to do is we want people to get outside, we want them to be aware of what's going on, and we want to make it so you don't worry about whether you're going to get hit by a runner, a bicyclist, or a stroller. One final thing to think about is if you decide to stop, because there's some really phenomenal things to see on the trail. There's wildlife. Sometimes you see a snake. Sometimes you see a bird. We almost got buzzed by a couple of fawns today when we were out on the trail. But if you stop, kind of step to the side, because again, the trail isn't really wide. So if you just step off the trail onto the grass, it makes it nicer for other people. So it's the polite thing to do. It's also safer for you if, God forbid, you get one of those idiot walkers, runners, or bikers who's talking on their phone, looking at their phone and texting, and runs into you. So the big take-home message is opt outside because movement is a lifestyle, but really share the trail. And rather than saying, I need to be able to do what I want to do on my workout because I'm a runner or I'm a biker or I'm a walker, think about what can I do to have an enjoyable experience, but share the trail so everybody else can too. Remember, FitLab Pittsburgh believes movement is a lifestyle and promotes it in the Pittsburgh area.